Okay, so today we're going to try something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're going to use a single image to kick off our deep dive.
interesting.
Yeah, it's this really cool image of a rowboat.
Okay, I can picture that.
But it's not just A&Y rowboat. This one's like a metaphor for your career, especially in consulting.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
And on top of the image of the rowboat, they've added like this bell curve.
Gotcha.
And instead of like numbers or anything on the curve, we have labels.
Okay, what kind of labels?
Starting at one end, we have drag, then drag spectator, then passenger, rower potential, and then finally at the peak of the curve, rower.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was super interesting. So I was hoping we could spend the next few minutes unpacking it with our expert. What do you think?
Absolutely, let's dive in.
Awesome. So let's start with the first label, drag.
All right, so drag. Well, this is all about teamwork. You know how important it is to work effectively as a team in consulting, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're constantly collaborating with colleagues and clients.
Exactly. So a drag is someone who hinders that teamwork, who creates friction and slows the team down.
So it's not just about individual performance then.
Right. It's about the impact your actions have on the entire boat, or in this case, the project team.
I'm starting to see how this metaphor works. So give me an example of drag behavior. Like, what would that look like in a real consulting scenario?
Okay, imagine you have a consultant who consistently misses deadlines.
Oh, I've definitely seen that happen.
Yeah, and what happens? Their teammates have to scramble, they have to work overtime to pick up the slack.
Right. And it's not just about the extra work either.
No, it's not just about the work, it's about the impact on the team's morale. When someone isn't pulling their weight, it creates resentment. It erodes trust.
And that can be toxic for the whole team.
Exactly. And in consulting, that kind of negativity can have a ripple effect. Think about client relationships.
Oh, right, because you're constantly working to build and maintain those relationships.
Yes. And if the team is dysfunctional, if there's a lack of trust, that will show through to the client.
And ultimately, that could damage the client relationship.
You got it. And in the worst case scenario, you lose the client.
Wow. Okay. That really paints a picture of how damaging drag behavior can be.
It is.
Okay. Moving on, the next label on the curve is drag spectator. Is that like a passive form of drag?
Yeah, you could say that. A drag spectator isn't actively sabotaging the team, but they're not contributing either.
So they're just kind of there.
Pretty much. And you know what? That can be just as detrimental as active drag behavior. Think about it if you're in a brainstorming session.
Okay, picturing it.
And you have a consultant who's just sitting there silently. They're not offering any input, not asking any questions, no ideas.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And it's kind of awkward.
It is. And it also sends a message that this person isn't engaged, they don't care.
Right, it makes you wonder why they're even there.
Exactly. And for the rest of the team, it's demoralizing. It's like, why should I bother putting in the effort if this person isn't?
So the takeaway here is, don't be a spectator in your own career.
Exactly.
Okay, let's row on to the next label, passenger. I feel like we've all been passengers at some point in our careers.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're just starting out. You're still learning the ropes.
Right, you're not quite sure where you fit in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what defines a passenger?
A passenger goes with the flow. They do what's asked of them, but they don't take initiative. They don't really go above and beyond.
So they're not necessarily hindering the team, but they're not actively contributing to its success either.
Right. They're just along for the ride. And in consulting, this could be the analyst who completes their assigned tasks but doesn't ask for feedback. Or they don't seek out opportunities to learn new skills.
Or maybe they don't volunteer for those stretch assignments that could really help them grow.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me wonder, could someone be a high performer individually but still be considered a passenger if they're not actively contributing to the team's growth?
Oh, absolutely. They might be a rock star at their individual tasks, but if they're not sharing their knowledge, if they're not mentoring others, they're not really helping the team as a whole.
So it's not just about individual excellence, it's about the collective effort.
Exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the upswing of the curve. We've reached rower potential.
Ah, now things are getting good.
Now we're talking. So rower potential, what does that look like?
These individuals are on the right track. They're engaged, they're eager to learn, they just need a bit of guidance.
So they're not quite rowers yet, but they have the potential to get there.
Exactly. And often they just need a little more experience. You know, imagine a new consultant who's asking questions. They're actively seeking feedback. They're volunteering for challenging assignments.
They're hungry to learn and grow.
Exactly. They might not have all the answers yet, but they're definitely on the right path.
I love that. It's so encouraging. It's like saying, hey, you're doing great. Keep pushing yourself and you'll get there.
It is. And it is encouraging. And it should be.
Okay, so let's get to the peak of the curve. The rower. What makes someone a true rower in consulting?
A true rower is the heart of the team.
Okay, I like that.
They're more than just a skilled consultant. They're a leader, a mentor, a driving force. They embody all those key characteristics listed on the image.
Okay, remind me what those are.
They always put the team first.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're empathetic.
Interesting. How does empathy play out in a field like consulting, which is so fast-paced and results-driven?
It's about understanding your client's needs. And I mean really understanding their needs.
Not just what they're telling you on the surface.
Exactly. You have to dig deeper. You have to understand their business pressures, anticipate their needs, and tailor your solutions accordingly. A rower gets that.
So it's not just about delivering a technically sound solution. It's about making sure it's the right solution for that specific client.
Right. It's about building trust. It's about navigating those sometimes tricky negotiations.
And the third characteristic.
They lead from the front.
Even in tough situations.
Especially in tough situations. So let's say a project hits a major roadblock.
Okay, happens all the time in consulting.
Oh, for sure. So what does a rower do? They don't panic. They don't blame others. They step up.
They take ownership.
Yes. And they guide the team toward a solution. They might delegate tasks. They might leverage each team member's strengths, or they might roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty right alongside the team.
It's about leading by example.
You got it.
So we've rowed our way from drag to rower, and we've seen how each level of contribution can impact a team.
And this isn't about labeling people, right? It's about understanding the behaviors that drive success.
It's about using this image as a guide for your own career journey.
Exactly. Even if you're not a rower today, you can always strive to become one. It's about growth. It's about learning. It's about commitment to being a valuable member of the team.
So where do you see yourself on this curve? Are you a drag, a passenger, or somewhere in between?
Or maybe even a rower already.
It's a great question to ask yourself. And remember, the journey to becoming a rower is a continuous one. And it's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely.
We'll catch you on our next deep dive.